All right, we should be live right now. Move my Buddha mic closer. Shouts to them. Ooh, about to get started. It's gonna be a good one. Let me clean off my blue light glasses. We about to get started. I'm about to clean off my blue light glasses and let me get to this quick commercial from King Simon, and we'll be right back, family. But this is gonna be a good one. Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
The legendary Professor James Smalls come to Atlanta, Georgia for 2 days. April 6th and April 7th. You don't want to miss it. He's doing a public and a private event. Text me right now at 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. The legendary Professor James Smalls, as you've seen him on Hidden Colors and all the rest of the documentaries. Make sure you go to my Linktree at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. Professor James Smalls in Atlanta, April 6th and April 7th.
All right. And with that being said, I want to welcome everybody to the chat. I got a new guest on tonight, making his debut on the channel. I want to give a shout out to the sister. Sister had mentioned me on Instagram. She put @BlackMagic363. I forget the sister name, and it was a post you had put up. And she was like, "Yo, it's about time this brother gets on Black Magic 363 channel." And I was like, well, who's she talking about? I always, I want to see who people talking about. And I went to your page, and you had made you reposted something. You was like, yo, I decoded Thundercats in 2020, and you was breaking down the Thundercats and Lyrians, and I just did a show with the name Flebrun on the Lyrian, and the information that he was dropping, I'm like, oh shit! I was like, damn, sister, you right. This brother do need to get on the channel. So, family, this is one of the brothers that I think he's gonna make a huge impact. I'm glad I had the brother on here. You go by the name, is it RFG ChosenOne?
That's correct.
All right, so that's what you want to be known by, RFG ChosenOne.
I mean, you can call me Jordan or RFG. It don't matter to me, but
All right, my man Jordan. I hear that. Hey, listen. Oh, that was me. So she in the chat. Shout out to Spooky Lopez. Yeah, shout out to Spooky Lopez. You made this show possible. I appreciate it. Sometimes you probably been mentioning him. I get so many people trying to be on the show that things just slip my mind. But he stood out when I read his post, so I appreciate it. Listen, brother, I want to get right into it. Hot topic. So much talk about on the internet about America. Black people are claiming America, saying they're not from Africa. It's very controversial, very controversial topic. Some people seen it as divisive because Black people are saying that they were here first in this country. But nonetheless, I appreciate the brothers and sisters who's out there bringing forth this information, and it's up to decide whether it resonates with us or not. One of the things you talk about that is very interesting, I've had the brother Rod Hayes talk about this, and several other people talk about this, is the Kemetic influence in America. You put up a post saying that. Let me hold up, y'all. Let me read this post. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second while y'all continue to get ready. Yeah, well, let me just say this. You said that there's irrefutable proof that Turtle Island, which many people know as America, is the original Kemet, and that could be found in the Grand Canyon. I hear so much about the Grand Canyon, so I can't wait for this information. I've heard there's portals in the Grand Canyon that take you straight from America to Africa. I hear there's pyramids over there. I hear so much stuff about the Grand Canyon. Brother, to start out with this show, what can you tell me about the Grand Canyon, Kemet, and the ancient past, whether it's the moon or whatever, my brother? Very excited to start out like this.
Well, like I said, it's an honor to be on your platform. I'm gonna start off by saying that, and I'll just go ahead and say that if you do your diligent research, you will see that you're only able to be allowed to see in between 3 and 5% of the actual Grand Canyon. So 97 to 95% of the Grand Canyon is closed off from the general public.
Wow.
We're talking about agents, you know, working for secret sectors of the military, black helicopters, black unmarked vehicles. And if you try to go to certain restricted areas of the Grand Canyon, you know, you're gonna be met with opposition, and that's for a reason. That's for a reason, because if you study the Hopi, what the Hopi say about it, it is literally the original Kemet, all right? And you'll see caves with our ancient ancestors' hieroglyphics. You will see mummified remains of all types of different intelligent beings that existed on this landmass thousands and thousands of years ago. There's also something called the Sedona vortex, which is an accumulation of orgone or ether energy that's coming from a layer underneath Arizona. And the energy is so high frequency. So many people who go there to Arizona, they feel it. You don't even have to be too close to the actual vortex to feel it. Soon as you enter that Arizona, like those state lines, you're gonna feel a difference, and that's coming from the Sedona vortex. So another person who said the same thing was DMX when he took his trip to Arizona. It actually changed his life if you study it, and it's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But I wish there was a way that we could all get together somehow and independently explore it and see what we could excavate, because you know they're not going to restrict something that heavily unless you know something important, something powerful is being guarded that they don't want the people to see or to tap into. Now, when we talk about etymology, the word America itself does not come from Amerigo Vespucci like we're taught in public education systems. The word America comes from Amaruca, which is an Incan word for the great serpent, because the America landmass, if we're going off of metaphysics, it represents the Kundalini serpent dealing with the fire, the Kundalini fire. That's why the Americas is the fire nation. So you have the serpent name from Amaruca, and then you have Turtle Island. Now, the Native Americans in North America, they refer to it as Turtle Island. When you study the tortoise and the turtle, that's actually the oldest land vertebrate in the world. So when we're talking about vertebrates, that's animals with a spinal column. The first land animal with a spinal column was the turtle. All land vertebrates are branch offs of the turtle. And like I said, I'll get to that in other lectures, but that's going off into genetic splicing. But that specifically is why the North Americans decided to name, you know, North America Turtle Island, because it is the closest landmass to Atlantis and Lemuria in culture.
In culture. So what can you tell me about this land we call America and Atlantis and Lemuria? What was going on around those times in this country that we call America?
You had different deities with different agendas. You had deities that were trying to outdo other gods through forms of genetic grafting and genetic splicing. A lot of people don't want to accept this truth, but there were different melanated people that were warring against each other over power. And that's how our ancestors were able to be so easily overtaken by the colonizer. You know, that's why there's so many tribes, throughout the Americas and in Africa. So it's very, very interesting. You know, you can study certain sites like Lovelock Cave, Nevada, as well as Spirit Cave, Nevada. In Spirit Cave, Nevada, they found the oldest human remains in recorded human history, over 10,600 years old. mummified human remains found in a cave in Nevada called Spirit Cave. Then they found Lovelock Cave, Nevada, where they found redhead giant mummies. And from what the archaeologists are saying, they were like cannibal giants with red hair. And you can find all this information online, before they take it all down eventually. And there were also Anunnaki bones found in a cave in Southern California. And these Freemasonic excavators, maybe they worked for National Geographic, something of that nature, but they were putting up a Freemasonic gesture when they opened the tomb of the Anunnaki skeletons. They had their hand over their chest, and it's been viral for quite some time now, but most people know what I'm referring to. That was found in Southern California in the early 1900s.
Mm. What I think you said they were Nephilim bones.
Yeah.
Tell the people who are the Nephilim, for those who may not know.
Nephilim are deities that are they have a piece of human genetics, and then they have a piece of genetics that come directly from beings known as the Titans. The Titans were like forces of nature that weren't fully they weren't fully resonating on third dimensional frequency. So they were like walking, talking forces of nature.
Mm. Wow.
So, and it's wild for me to say this, but everything they put on the mainstream, as far as like cartoons, movies, and video games, they want us to be entertained from it. They want us to laugh and giggle. They want us to look at it like, it's make-believe, but it's not. It's actually the true history, the true reality.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you was talking about since we're talking about the movies and the cartoons, and we're talking about America and America being original Kemet, let's talk about Black Panther, Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying Wakanda being in South Dakota. So,
that's right.
Talk to me about Wakanda. What's that about, Wakanda in South Dakota?
Well, that's an area where you have a sacred mound. Most of the pyramids in North America are actually mounds. And when we talk about Wakanda and the Black Panther and the Golden Jaguar, that's all dealing with the Americas. If you actually study the jaguar species, all the Black Panther is a dark jaguar or a dark leopard. In Africa, the panther is a dark leopard. In America, the panther is the dark jaguar. So they were really referring to the Americas. You got the dark jaguar, you got the golden jaguar, and they got the nation of Wakanda. In the latest Black Panther, they were talking about the Maya. Now that's interesting because when you study the etymology of Maya, it's directly synonymous with words like mahogany, cigar, and June bug. Now that's interesting. Why would the word Maya, according to Etymology Online, why would Maya be associated with mahogany, cigar, and June bug?
Yeah.
They're all dark copper colored. They're all a reddish brownish copper color. The cigar, mahogany, and the June bug. Wow. And if you study what the Spaniards used to refer to the Maya as, they called them a derogatory term called the mayate. And that means June bug. So that means the original Maya had to be of that complexion. We also have statues and certain hieroglyphics showing that the Maya wore their hair in locks and twisted up the locks. Then, of course, we have the Olmec heads, and you had a whole bunch of people saying that the Olmec heads were Hispanic. But when you look at the back of the Olmec heads, you see that they had like cornrows. They literally had like cornrows. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at those things and you look at it from a broad perspective, something ain't adding up. When we go to the Webster's dictionary, the 1800s Webster's Dictionary, we look up terms like Indian, like American, Negro. It's all going to go back to the original copper-colored race of the Americas. And then, for instance, when we look at the word Washington, Washington D.C., George Washington, that term comes from the Washita Native Americans and the Washoe Native Americans. So when we study who the Washita are, they are so-called Black Native Americans. And if you think that's bogus, why would the NFL owners make it their duty to put a dark-complected Native American on that Redskins logo? And why did that just so happen to be in the city of Washington, D.C.? You see what I'm saying? And they made it seem like there was a whole bunch of petitions talking about it was racist to have that name and that image on an NFL logo. But in reality, what's his name? Dan Snyder did not have to get rid of that logo legally. The reason they got rid of it because they know there's a demographic of people waking up in the States, and they don't want that logo to be used as a form of proof to show who Black people really are. But that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah, very interesting. What else what can you tell me about the Moors in America? I hear so much about the Moors in America. What's your take on what the information that's out there?
The Moors, they were North Africans who thought they did a decent job. I'm not gonna say they didn't. From 711 to 1491 AD, they had a plan to go to Europe and to basically cross bloodlines with the Caucasoid. So by them mixing blood with the Caucasoids in Europe, that was the Moors' way of thinking that they could civilize a certain demographic. In every group you have so-called high vibrational and low vibrational people. So, but I'll say when you look at the big perspective, we can't really say that they succeeded because of what's been transpiring in the United States since its inception. So the Moors, they ruled in Europe for 700 years. They tried to, cross bloodlines with the so-called, white people, so they could, be grafted into the melanated family. And it worked for some, and it didn't for others. And on a blood moon in 1491, there was an uprising in Spain, and Queen Isabella and her army, I believe they overthrew the Moors and the Jews. So Queen Isabella's army was called the Visigoths. The Visigothic army overthrew the Moors and the Jews out of Spain, and the Moors were held as prisoners of war. They were forced to show Christopher Columbus and Queen Isabella the route to the Americas. Now, when they took the ship from Spain to America, it was totally different than the trip from Central Africa to America. They went from Spain, then they went up north to England, then they went to Iceland, then they went to Greenland, then they landed in Nova Scotia. That's a much easier route and a quicker route than Central Africa to North America.
Right.
So the original Moors that came to the Americas were prisoners of war. And I believe they were in on the capturing and the enslavement of a lot of our indigenous ancestors. And I believe the Moors let the enemy know a lot of secrets dealing with dark alchemy and the weaknesses of our people. And and if you think about it, I mean, how are they just so easily and conveniently able to get away with atrocity after atrocity after atrocity after atrocity. And you know, it's either nobody bats an eye, or everybody just assumes that they're justified. So we're dealing with people who are actually tapping into and have learned our ancestors' dark alchemy. And the Moors are responsible for giving, you know, that knowledge away to the enemy.
When you say dark alchemy, what exactly do you mean by dark alchemy?
Dark alchemy is the manipulation of etheric energy and dark energy. So when you deal with dark matter and dark energy, of course, that's what you see, you know, out in so-called space. And that energy is also inside of our carbon, aka our melanin. But we are not the dark matter. We are the ether. So if you can manipulate ether, you can manipulate light photons. If you can manipulate light photons, you can manipulate atoms, and you can manipulate molecular structures. And basically you can create whatever structure or whatever organism you want to, as long as you're able to manipulate ether energy and the light photon. Now, from ether energy, we get radiation, we get fire, we get electricity, and from electricity, we get magnetism. So it all goes back to the ether, you know, and then the dark forces, which is the dark matter and the dark energy. And I believe the people in power, they have to be doing something, because all of these natural catastrophes keep killing the same people, but they always seem to be unaffected by the so-called natural catastrophes.
Where does orgone energy come into play with the ether energy?
That energy, the root of it is the black hole in the center of the galaxy. And then there's also a central point in the earth, which is the inner sun. And that is the root point of ether energy on the earth.
Right. Wow. Since you mentioned in the sun, also, it makes me think about, we just talked about the Grand Canyon. One of the things that you said that I've heard other people say as well, when it comes to the Grand Canyon, our ancient history, is that a chunk of it flew out into space and that became our moon. You got to elaborate on that. I've heard of you got
that's backed up. That's backed up by two ancient civilizations. One is the Zulu tribe, from the exact words of Credo Mutua, and that comes from the Incans who were in Colombia. They speak about the moon being created, and there were cultures that existed before the moon in America. That's an Incan documents in ancient Colombia. The Hopi also teach the same knowledge, but I haven't found it as far as the Dogon teachings yet. But I actually want to dig further into that to see if it's taught in the Dogon's teachings as well. So far, I've looked into 3 different cultures who've all said the same thing regarding the moon, and civilizations in America that existed before the moon was in orbit. If you study the way the moon orbits the Earth, it orbits the Earth different than every other moon in the solar system. Mars has 2 moons. Jupiter, I believe, has at least 30 moons, and Saturn has over 40 moons. Uranus and Neptune have well over 25 moons, in between 20 25 moons. No moon in the solar system orbits their planet like our moon orbits our planet. The moon, literally for maybe millions of years, has orbited the same exact way. we never see the dark side of it. The same side of the moon is always facing Earth, because it's being controlled by intelligence. You see, it's literally built to only show one face to the Earth. Because on the dark side, on the back side of the moon, you have extraterrestrial bases.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask. So if the moon came from Arizona, and Arizona was the original Kemet, that's our shit. Then they set up shop on our shit. Then, right?
That's right.
Damn. So what? How in terms of the moon's relationship with the woman on this planet and the relationship with us, do you find that science to be right and exact? In terms of it controlling our emotions in the waters, is that right and exact from what you researched?
I believe so. I believe so. Doing research, delving into astrology. According to astrology, I believe that the asteroid known as Ceres, that's Ceres. I believe Ceres was the original moon of Earth before the new moon was casted out from Arizona. But that moon, the current moon, it sends negatively charged ions into the Earth's atmosphere, and it uses etheric energy to control and manipulate the ocean tides. It also uses those ions to enter a portion of our brain that's literally connected to the moon, and it manipulates our emotions. It's called the mammalian portion of the brain, dealing with mundane emotions. And anything considered mundane. And it's also metaphysically tied to women's menstrual cycles. That's why when you go into etymology, you study the words like lunatic, lunacy. The dogs, or the grafted creatures that they call domesticated dogs, their Latin name is Canis lupus familiaris. That lupus ties them with the moon. Wow. Anything with LU, that goes back to the moon.
So what about luck? LUCK.
That is the archons that control the moon, that control the reincarnation grid on the Earth. They want us to believe that we just got to this Earth by chance. There's no higher powers. Everything is a coincidence. Don't question anything. And if anything good happens to you, it's luck.
Ooh, that was oh shit. Okay,
that's what they want. That's what they want to believe, man.
I like what you did with that one, brother. Okay, all right. I like that. All right. So I definitely I want to get back to the Kemet in America thing, but I gotta, since you're talking about the moon and the sun and all this stuff, you say a lot of interesting things. That's why I'm like, I get the brother on. The brother has a certain outlook that I haven't heard from a lot of places. Sirius Star, you talked about the Nomo. The Sirius Star is a dog star. You said it should be called the Cat Star, the Mermaid Star, and the Serpent Star. First time I ever heard that, and I've always known it as a dog star. Please explain to me what you mean by it should be called the Cat Star, the Mermaid, and the Serpent Star.
Well, when we go back to Kemet, this is also in the Mayan records as well. The jackal head god, which was the canine god known as Anubis, that's dealing with their underworld, and that's dealing with the souls that they have to have their hearts weighed when they go see Anubis, because Anubis also has a partner called Ammit, Ammit. Ammit is a reptilian crocodile, the reptilian entity waiting to literally consume a soul if it's too heavy. So, we have those records that are connecting the dog, the canine god, to the underworld. And then we have Latin etymology, which connects the dog to the moon. You see what I'm saying? Now, when we study these ancient records, when we go back to Samaria, we go back to Kemet, we speak to the Zulu tribe, the Hopi. The beings that they said came from the Sirius star system, none of them were associated with canines. We got, you know, the feline humanoids, that's the Kemet and the Bastet bloodline. You have the Nagas, half human, half serpent. You have the Draconians, they're reptilians. You have the mantis insectoids. You have the beetle insectoids. You also have the ant people, but none of these ancient cultures have ever documented a race of canine-like humanoids coming from the Sirius star system.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Like I tell you, I seen somebody in I think it was on Instagram, say that the majority, since we're talking about America, ancient America, the person said that this is when I did the show with the sister Flebrun. They said that the majority of the beings from the Lyen civilization or the Lyen star system, they are what we know as African Americans today.
Okay.
Is there any? Have you heard anything concerning that?
The feline humanoids, the Sekhmet bloodline, as well as the bloodline of the Nagas, that is directly linked with so-called Black Americans, more so than any other group of people on the earth. The dragons and the serpents that were worshipped in Asia were those were the Mers. They were called the Ainu, Ainu, the original Russians, the original Southeast Asians, the original samurai. They were called the Ainu Mers, and those people were depicted as the people of the serpent and the people of the dragon. So when we talk about the relevance of the serpent, the dragon, and the feline, this is why the owners of the NFL and the NBA, they very rarely allow a team that is a wildcat or a serpent or a dragon to ever win a Super Bowl or a championship. The only one to do it was the Arizona Diamondbacks, and what happened after that? 9/11. So we see there's some kind of metaphysical reason, some kind of spiritual connection as to why these sports teams, they never allow a serpent team, a dragon team, or a wildcat team to ever win a title. And it's because those creatures are directly linked to our history, to people of the serpent Kundalini.
Right. Oh man, wow, y'all enjoying this? We got 2,000 people in the chat. This is an interesting one, y'all, huh? This is a real interesting one. I want to ask you right now as I get something together on my phone. So whose idea was it? Since I'm hearing there's this huge movement online talking about America is the original Kemet, and there's pyramids in America. Whose idea was it historically to take the focus off America and to place it on Egypt and make Egypt the center of this whole thing? What civilization did this?
Well, you got two entities. One is Darwinism. You have the Darwinists,
right?
And then you have the organization responsible for creating Pan-Africanism. Now that's a British organization that's dealing with British intelligence. As far as the year, you can research that. When that was established, it was established by the British government. And when you look at anything that starts with Pan, you already lost, because Pan is dealing with the god Pan, and that's dealing with the god of pandemonium, pansexuals. You see what I'm saying? Pandering. Pan is directly synonymous with the demiurge and the archons, dealing with the planet Saturn as well as the planet Jupiter, dealing with Kronos and Zeus. That's where the word pan that traces its origins back to.
So what about what can you tell me? What are some other pyramids? You're saying that most of the pyramids that were in America were actually mounds, you're saying?
Yeah. So that's how they started out.
Right. So these gods that we hear about in Egypt, what connection do they have with America? We hear about Ptah, we hear about Tahuti, we hear about, you mentioned Segment, all these gods, Osiris. What connection do they have with this land?
Well, they try to make it look like that lions are only in Africa. That's false, because if you study what they have in their mainstream archaeology records, there was an animal called an American lion. And now I'm not talking about the small mountain lion. There was an actual animal that was bigger than an African lion, and it looked just like a lion but bigger, and it was in America. I think sometime between 4,000 and 6,000 years ago. But after Atlantis fell 6,000 years ago, so did the American lion. But they have the proof there. So we have everything that Africa has, as far as gods, as far as tradition, as far as history, as far as alchemy, as far as resources. It's all here. It's all here. North America, South America, Central America, the Caribbean. Everything they have, we have here. As a matter of fact, if Africa was really the motherland, like they say, why didn't the European just keep the Africans in Africa and mine the resources out of Africa? Why risk your life and your friend's life, who would happen to be another slave owner, and every slave was a piece of stock that was worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're talking 300 to 350 slaves on a ship. The voyage from West Africa to North America is in between 2 and 3 months, and we're talking about the most violent ocean in the world. Why risk your life for that when you could just stay in Africa and mine the resources in Africa?
I think the sun might have been too much for them in Africa, right? You think that might be one?
No, you have a point for North Africa, but they got the slaves from the Ivory Coast, and the Ivory Coast is nowhere near the temperatures of Northern Africa.
Right. Okay. So when we hear states like Memphis, is there any connection between Memphis in Egypt and Memphis over here in Memphis, Tennessee? Is there any connection?
Absolutely. You have a Memphis in Egypt, and then of course you have a Memphis in Tennessee. The Memphis in Tennessee, they put a pyramid made out of metal and glass there. So there's something dealing with the ley line, the number of the ley line there, where they placed that pyramid in Memphis, and I believe it's directly connected to the pyramid that they made in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Now, this is very interesting, and we're going to go back to etymology here. It says on the books that the name Las Vegas comes from the meadows. Well, when you study the actual geography of the Las Vegas area, the habitat and the terrain, it really doesn't look like a meadow at all. There's one tiny fraction of Las Vegas that would be considered a marsh grassland, and it's southeast of Vegas, but it's very, very tiny when you compare it to the rest of Vegas. So most of Vegas is basically a desert tundra, and canyon, and all of the grasslands and the trees in Vegas were put there artificially by landscapers. So why are they talking like, you know, Vegas was this oasis when the Spaniards got there in the 1800s? That's not true. The name they named it Las Vegas after the Vega star. There's a star in the sky called Vega.
Yeah.
That's what they named it after. So when you deal with that Vega star, you go back to the Lyrians, the cat people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When you talk about Memphis with the pyramid, they also have an obelisk in Washington, D.C. You see what I'm saying? When you see the Pentagon, right, which is not too far from the area the obelisk was built, the Pentagon is a center of a pentagram. Mm-hmm. And the pentagram is dealing with that god Pan and Kemet. They refer to it as Set Typhon. And the Greeks refer to it as Kronos, you know, Father Time, and his son Zeus. So that's who these people worship. They are of the bloodline of Set Typhon, Saturn, Kronos, Jupiter. In Kemet, they called Zeus Amun Ra. You know, his first name is Amun, dealing with the moon energy. Then he changed his name. He changed his name to Amun Ra because he wanted to be the Alpha and the Omega. He wanted to be the, you know, he wanted to be the Yin and the Yang. He wanted to be the Alpha and the Omega, but he's not.
Right.
So these are the gods that your mainstream religions worship. These are the gods that your religious leaders and your political leaders worship, and they're nothing but parasitic entities. But when you look at America in a nutshell, they want you to think it's a carbon copy of Kemet, but it's actually the original Kemet, because the mounds, like I'll look at these mounds right here.
Yeah.
These mounds were taught. They were taught to our people how to build the mounds, and from the mounds we get the more complex pyramid structures. So in North America we have mostly mounds, and when you get to Mexico, that's when you see the actual the step pyramids, and they also have more of them in South America. So the ones we see in Egypt are a lot younger. They're a lot younger than what we're being told, all right? Because the original pyramid-like structures are the mounds in America. And when you look at these mounds in the United States, they look very similar to ant mounds that, you know, the insects known as ants build. And that's very interesting because the Hopi term for Anunnaki, it means ant friends. And in their caves, in their caves, they have pictures of ant humanoids interacting with humans. And the Hopi say that the ant people live underground, and they taught humans how to build the mounds. And from the mounds, other gods influenced humanity to learn how to build more sophisticated pyramids. So according to the Hopi, you know, the original Anunnaki were insectoid, and they were the original ones that showed us how to build mounds and pyramids.
So the Anunnaki, who were insectoids, built the mounds in America, which look very similar to the mounds ants build, the little ant hills that we see on the ground. So that's
Anunnaki,
right. Wow. Now, obviously, I never heard that before. They were They were insects, so they literally look like insects. You're saying?
We have to ask us. We have to ask ourselves. Yeah. Mainstream Hollywood motion pictures cost hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least tens of millions of dollars to make. Mm-hmm. So why waste your time making movies about insectoid aliens? You got Men in Black, You got Independence Day. You got the movie Mimic. You got the movie with Sigourney Weaver, Alien. You got the Predator. I mean, Starship Troopers. I mean, everywhere you turn, everywhere you turn, it's an insectoid, type being that they're talking about. And then in South Africa, you have the people called the Khoisan. I think that's the name, and they worship a god named Kagan, Kaggen. Kagan is a shape-shifting god, but his favorite form to shift in is a praying mantis. Now that's interesting, because he's a god, he's a powerful shape-shifting god, and out of all the insects to choose from, he chooses a praying mantis. They want us to constantly pray to things outside of ourselves, because they want humans to give our life force and to give our power away to other entities outside of ourselves. Back in the day, we used to worship ourselves. That's why we used to build statues of ourselves all over the world, because we knew that we were the real gods. So these, you have different fractions of extraterrestrials that want to help humanity. You have different fractions of extraterrestrials that want to see humanity's demise. And the deities responsible for religion, they are malevolent. They wanted to take away the power of the original gods on this earth, which were, the Atlanteans and the Lemurians.
What civilization comes before Atlantis and Lemuria? Down here.
Before that, we're on a different planet. We're on Mars. And Mars was destroyed between Asar and the god Set. And that's why they made an agreement with all the world governments to dismantle all nuclear weapons, because they do not want Earth to have the same fate as Mars.
So Mars was destroyed by nuclear weapons.
Well, I mean, it says that in the Emerald Tablets, and I believe that's also in the Dogon records as well.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. I want to take some questions. You got the chat lit up. The chat is going. I mean, they talking so much right now. They're very interested in the show. We got about 2,400 people in the chat. I want to take some questions. We got about 20 minutes left. But before I do, I want to post this brother's PayPal on the screen. Hold up. Yeah, I want y'all to support this brother. If you appreciate the knowledge, the brother doesn't have a cash app. What I do, I'm like, I'm like the point guard out here, and I'm finding some good shooters out here. We got the name of the team, we got a team out here, not a literal team, but we're bringing forth amazing information. And I passed this brother the ball tonight, and the brother slam dunked it tonight. I'm happy, but I want to make sure we take care of the people that are out there that are putting forth amazing information. So I'm going to share this brother's PayPal right here. The brother's PayPal is broncosjkw@gmail.com.
I believe it actually changed. It's the Amo Apoxia.
Brother, come on. You can't make a mistake like this on my show, brother. Come on, man. Jesus. Sending money. All right, what's the PayPal?
It's Amo Apoxia. So that's A and then M as in Mandy, and then OAPOKSIA@gmail.com.
Yeah, we can't make no mistakes, because they're gonna start sending money, and so that's AMOAPOKSIA.
Correct. That's correct.
All right, so yeah, like I said, family. So I'm finding people on YouTube. I'm finding people on Instagram. I'm finding people on TikTok. My goal is to have at least 15 new speakers on this channel by the end of the year. Thank you to the sister who pointed out this brother's Instagram account. I was immediately impressed. What's your Instagram? Because I want everybody to head over there.
Instagram is RFG_ChosenOne, and that's the number one. So that's RFG_chosen, and then the number one.
Right. So I want everybody, I swear this brother has Instagram is popping when it comes to information. I want everybody to head over to, no, that's his PayPal. Somebody says that email. When you use PayPal, you use the email. So that's the email that he uses to receive PayPal payments. So hit the brother up, support the brother on PayPal, and also check out the brother's Instagram. On Instagram, you'll find out information about the brother's Patreon, as well as anything else that the brother has going on. But I definitely want to highlight this brother and put him out there to the masses. I think the brother has something magnificent to offer. And we're going to start taking some questions right now. You ready to take some questions, my brother?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, let's start taking some questions. Man, this was a good show. Somebody said you late, Brother Rich. Heard of this dude? Yeah, I'm late on that. Yeah, I'm late. You know, I'm so busy in my own world. I don't I'm not hip to a lot of the speakers out there that's on the internet. So it's up to y'all to school me. Let me know who's popping out there, and that's how I find out about people. So yeah, I'm definitely late. I heard the brother's been around for a while, so I'm late, but I'm also on time because the timing is perfect. This is the timing is perfect right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. Wow. Can you ask him where can we find a video he did on BitChute about the aliens visiting the students in Wales and telling them about what was to come? I think it's relevant for today.
That I'm glad you brought that up. I have that saved on my laptop right here, and that's going to be uploaded to Rumble very soon. I'm uploading all my old YouTube videos to the Rumble account is Vegan Lyen, and there's no spaces. It's vegan and then Lyen. No spaces.
Oh, so you on your Lyrian shit, Vegan Lyen?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. Oh, new diamonds. Thanks for reminding me. I want to ask you. A lot of people been asking this in the chat. I got it written down. What's the deal? We talking about America. What's the spiritual implications of this eclipse that's happening April 8th? What's going down? What that mean, brother? What that mean?
I've been through a lot of eclipses in my life, and it's interesting you mentioned that because I was actually born on an eclipse, and I really don't get affected like that, negatively at all. So what was interesting was I found out that there was multiple huge institutions that are shutting down during this eclipse on April 8th, and it was shocking. Like, I couldn't really make anything of it because I can't recall anything like that ever happening. I'm talking about churches, schools, other like multi-billion-dollar corporations shutting down. And then you had like billionaires that are selling their stocks away around this time. And I'm like, this stuff ain't adding up. So I don't know what they got planned. But it doesn't.
What do our ancestors say about the solar eclipses, though? Like you mentioned the Hopi and all that. What they saying about the?
Well, the eclipse just shows that we're going to get a different level of upgrades. We're going to get a different level of DNA upgrades.
Right.
And the enemy on the planet during eclipses, they try to perform these demonic rituals to try to distract us from getting our upgrades during these eclipses. An eclipse means, different. We gotta evolve to a different level, different frequency.
Okay, let's get to the next question. Somebody say, ask him where's the video when he talked about the three beings created the universe from sound. Y'all really do know about this, brother? Okay, yeah, they told. What video was that?
I believe. That was a video that yeah, cymatic vibration. That video is you'll find that on the Rumble. I did that back in 2018. But if you study the god Ptah, Ptah and Kemet, he's responsible for creating the universe through dark matter, etheric energy, and simply his thought. And then when he spoke after he had the thought, his thought materialized. There's a movie on Netflix. It's called Slumberland. The little girl was able to move throughout different dimensions while she was sleeping, and she entered a location called the realm of nightmares. And what most people don't understand is that the realm of nightmares, that's the realm of pure dark matter. And in the realm of nightmares, she was able to acquire these pearls. And when she held these pearls, whatever she thought into the pearl, it manifested into its own universe. So that's basically how Ptah created the universe. And they showed it right there in the Slumberland film on Netflix.
Right. Next question. Ask him about the domestic cats being created from tigers, rabbits, snakes, and humans. What's the deal with the domestic cats?
The mainstream scientists, they want us to believe in this whole Darwinism evolution thing. They want us to believe that if we go to a different area of the earth, we're just magically gonna morph into a different being that looks totally different than what we used to look. That's the logic behind evolution. But we know, most people who think logically know that can't be accurate. So when we study the makeup, the biological makeup of a domesticated cat, they're one of the only mammals that have a slit pupils. Most of the creatures who have slit pupils are either reptile or amphibian, and that's due to the domesticated cat, of course, having that serpent DNA. Because when you look at another organ in the domesticated cat, it has a glottis in its throat. The same glottis that they find in the throat of a serpent, they also find that same glottis in the throat of the cat. Cats also have pineal glands, just like serpents. And cats are able to do something called side trailing, where if you leave them, if you're around them for a certain period of time, they feel comfortable around you, and then you leave them, they will literally be able to track your every step, even if you go halfway across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called side trailing.
Wow, that's interesting, man.
And see, that's also why they vilify, the mainstream media and religion vilifies the cat and the serpent.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Lady G, for the super chat. Let me make sure I got all the super chat questions. Somebody said, Brother Rich, I want to ask you, if having so many on your platform with different and similar views, how do you absorb what is truth for you? Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked that. As y'all can tell, so many different people. This platform is not like just a religion or a certain organization where we just study this. I believe we all have been lied to, and we all have pieces to the puzzle. So I like to allow people who I think is genuine and come from their heart to come on that platform and express to the people what they think their piece of the puzzle for ascending or raising our vibration might be. And I believe it is up to each one of us to find what resonates with us. Certain things resonate with me that may not resonate with y'all. As y'all could tell, I resonate a lot with the whole the whole law of attraction thing, and me and being able to manifest certain things into this realm. I resonate a lot with Dr. B Serious information. So there's just different things that resonate with different people. I resonate with King Simon information a lot, with the numerology. Numerology is something I'm very much into. But I think what I also understand that's important is I can't put my ego in front of the platform and know that you guys may, or you guys or girls may be resonate with different information. So there's information that I may not resonate with, but I know y'all resonate with. But I know that that person's coming from a genuine place and it's just their genuine experience. So I know that it will benefit y'all. So I still allow individuals to come on the platform, even if I may not in particular vibe with that information at that time. I may vibe with it later. A lot of the more stuff, I just don't vibe with it. Y'all never heard me say I got my paperwork or I got this or I got that. But I know that's helping some people. And I know that that is an important part of history for us to talk about. So I allow the brothers to some of the brothers to come on here and express their teachings. Shout out to all the Moorish brothers. So you just got to find what resonates with you. First, you got to know what you got to be in tune with your intuition. Your intuition will tell you what resonates with you, and I'm very much in tune with my intuition. Let's get to the next question. Okay, what are some technologies that aren't from this planet?
That aren't from this planet.
Yeah.
Technologies. That's a very good question, because when we look at Atlantis and Lemuria, I believe that is everything that they want us to believe is extraterrestrial. It's really Atlantean and Lemurian. It's the same technology they used to build the pyramids. Basically, when this realm was invaded and hijacked by these low frequency entities, they made deals with certain ancestors of ours that sold out. And when they would conquer certain people, they would get these artifacts from underground. They would excavate these artifacts from underground, whether it was a powerful crystal, whether it was a certain element, or a artificial concoction used for free energy, and they would keep it for themselves. So this is what went on basically all over the world, since we go all the way back to the Atlantis times. But I really wouldn't say that the most advanced technologies is only, extraterrestrials, they have a hold of it, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they were the originators of it. Like, for instance, our body is the most powerful form of technology. During those Atlantis days, there were some groups of people that didn't even need technology because they were vibrating at such a frequency where they could levitate, they could teleport themselves, they could perform acts that could give them power over elements of the earth. You see what I'm saying? At that point, your body is the ultimate technology. And I just believe that, their form of technology was the most efficient. So when we talk about the technology that the government has today, it's advanced, but I wouldn't consider it the most advanced.
What? All right, let me get to that was an interesting one. Thanks for asking that question. I just seen what I wanted to ask you. Lord, where did it go? Where did it go? All right, well, let me ask this. Because I know you talk about this on your Instagram a lot, the yin yang energy. They said ask about the yin yang frequencies. What's the deal with that?
That's probably the most profound piece of information that I've ever stumbled across. They want us to buy into this whole notion of magnetism. They want us to believe that magnetism is somehow the strongest force in the universe and it's responsible for so much. And they're saying the earth is magnetic. They're saying the human body is magnetic. I believe that's all hogwash. Because when we study magnetism, we understand that only 6% of all known elements in the world are magnetic. So only 6% of all known elements are magnetic. That means 94% of all elements are non-magnetic. And then we find out the only elements that are magnetic are the weakest elements. So, and then when we go even deeper, when atoms bond with each other, it's not through magnetism. Atoms bond through valence electrons. All valence electrons are negatively charged. Two negatively charged particles cannot be bonding through magnetism because both electrons are negatively charged. That means that atoms bonding together is not through the magnetic force. So, you know, when we think about these things, you know, from a broad perspective, something's out of place here. Something's really out of place. And when we study the earth, I mean, I've never seen a magnet that just got sucked out of our hands and was just so attracted to the earth that it connected to the earth like a magnet. I've never seen a magnet go directly down into the earth soil. So that means most of the earth is non-magnetic. You see what I'm saying? So if the earth was magnetic, we would have compasses that point directly to the South Pole, just how compasses point directly to the North Pole. You see what I'm saying? Where are the compasses that point towards magnetic south if the earth is magnetic? See, it's, you know, we have to understand the depth of these people's lives, man. That those 12 years of schooling was literally nothing but indoctrination centers, so we could have, you know, the ancient supreme knowledge robbed from us. And when we talk about, you know, resonating frequencies and yin and yang being frequencies and not polarities, that's proven through the zodiac. So when you look at the signs like Taurus and Scorpio, they say Taurus and Scorpio are polar opposites. Well, how is Taurus and Scorpio polar opposites when they're both negatively charged, right? So how can two negatives be polar opposites dealing with magnetism? Leo and Aquarius are supposedly, you know, the polar opposite, but how can they be both polar opposite when they're both masculine positive signs? So are we dealing with magnetic attraction, or are we dealing with the resonating of frequencies, the matching of frequencies? Okay. Because the way I see it is, those signs that mirror each other, they're sister signs, which means they're just two sides of the same coin. They're resonating on the same frequency. Right.
Because I was about to ask you your opinion before you said it. I was about to ask you your opinion on what do you think about each one of us having an electromagnetic field. In your thoughts.
I believe we are etheric and static electric. It's not magnetism is a byproduct of electricity, and magnetism can only be sustained through the weakest elements and the smallest amount of elements. So we are mostly etheric and static. The energy field around the earth is etheric and static. So when you see the electricity, the thunderstorms and the lightning, that's static. That's coming from the inside of the earth that is interacting with charged particles, you know, towards the static field above the earth. Right. And the real compass is a gyroscope. And so because it's non-magnetic.
Okay. Let me get to this question here. This is from Ascendant Infinite Goddess. Peace and thank you for the super chat as always. Big supporter of the show. Appreciate it, Goddess. Brother Rich, real gold don't turn green. Stay true. Thank you for different perspectives. Ask him his views on angels being angles of light. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the original angels that are talked about in religion, not all of them, but I would say most of them are Arconian. And when we deal with the angles of light, those are the angles of light photons that are being trapped in fields of ether or fields of dark matter and ether, trapping the angles of light. So that's literally what happened to us when we incarnated in our physical form in our mother's womb. The sperm hit the egg and there was a spark. There was a spark of ether and static. And that ether and static was sucked into the dark matter womb, and it formed our physical. Because when they talk about the genie being trapped in the bottle, the genie is us. We are the light. We are light beings. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're not the crude matter. So this body is nothing but angles. The bones are all built together through certain, angles, geometric angles. Cymatic vibration is the dark matter and the etheric fields bending the light in certain angles to trap the light.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's get to another. We're gonna get to a few more. Then I gotta get out of here, y'all. Make sure make sure y'all support this brother's PayPal. Hit up his Instagram. I'm gonna put the information up after the next question. But yeah, I definitely want this brother to get the support. This is his first time, his debut on the platform, and I want y'all to show the brother love, because the brother came with some information that I haven't heard of before, and I've heard a lot of information before, so I definitely appreciate the brother's perspective on spirituality and history. Let's they want to know, can we look at the eclipse? A lot of people are still asking about the eclipse. Can they look at it? Stuff like that.
You want to do it alone. If you want to look at it, make sure you're alone when you do it, and stay away from places that are drawing large crowds. Stay away from large crowds. If you're a pregnant woman, you might not want to go outside during the eclipse. If you do, you take the risk of your child being born with a cleft lip or maybe a birthmark, which it's nothing to be too worried about, but I would just say to be on the safe side for pregnant women, just to stay inside.
Shit, don't we all have birthmarks? Shit, I thought we all have birthmarks.
I mean, birthmarks are different than moles or beauty marks.
What are birthmarks?
They're a larger accumulation of neuromelanin that basically gets trapped in the skin or a certain portion of the skin. But on a metaphysical level, from what the ancients say, birthmarks are injuries or they're injuries or fatal wounds that we suffered in the past life.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Nicole says she don't have a birthmark. Okay, Nicole. Yeah, I got one right on my arm. I got a birthmark right on my arm. So I don't know how many. Okay. I wonder how many of y'all have them in the chat. Let me know if you have it or not. That's interesting. I always thought everybody had them. Let's get to another question. We got to get to the super chat. Oh God, I didn't see. Oh man, I probably won't be able to get to all of it. Let me see. All right, let's go in order. RFG, the chosen one, is like your favorite rapper that you haven't heard in a while, coming out with a hit album. Where can we find your information now? People, they're like, yo, where are you now?
I'm on Instagram. All my old videos from 2015 to 2021, they're being uploaded to Vegan Lyen on Rumble, slowly but surely. The Rumble account is called Vegan Lyen, no spaces.
Yo, y'all don't see how the show after two shows, isn't it ironic or coincidence? We know there's no such thing as coincidence. I did a show with LeBron about the Lions and in the Vegas star system. Then 2 shows later, I have a brother on the show. I had no idea. He calls himself the Vegan Lion. Like you don't see the synchronicity and that. Like the brothers, he's heavy on the information that LeBron just talked about. I had no idea I was going to count on this brother, and he just happens to come on 2 shows after. That's some serious shit, man. She said this Lyran's vegan Vegas start. She said that information is going to start to surface this year. So yeah, wow, man, it's interesting. Just take a note of it. Let's get to the next question. What if your spirit animal is a panther slash jaguar?
Is that like according to like Western culture, or like what specific culture is that pertaining to?
I think she wants to know your opinion. Spiritually speaking, what would the ancients say if her spirit animal is?
Well, usually that's dealing with people who have high intuition, very confident in themselves, very confident in their abilities, somewhat impulsive. But you know, that can be fixed, you know, just with certain practices to work on that. But overall, the Pantherian energy is dealing with the Kundalini, it's dealing with the Yang force, it's dealing with confidence, it's dealing with being someone who perceives themselves as a natural leader, someone who's very assertive, someone who's more of a go-getter. You know, that's the way I see it, because that would be the natural Leo sign in Western astrology, and then that would be the tiger in Eastern astrology. The closest that, you know, those are the closest zodiacs that I could compare that to as far as the spirit animal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's get to the next question because we got to move fast. Brother Rich asks him if the Atlantean bloodlines live on through the so-called blacks in America, the true American Aboriginals.
It does. And what's kind of messing a lot of potential up in the States is, you know, a lot of our people don't want to accept that. They want to accept only what was given to them by more popular sources or mainstream sources. They want to they want to get involved with religion, the Hebrew Israelite thing, like you said, even the Moorish thing. But it's really not the true identity. You see what I'm saying? And all of these titles that we were given, none of them allow us to obtain anything that's tangible. You understand? So after all this knowledge and this information, this wisdom, and then you have the Moors, you know, with you know, their paperwork process and their literature and their books. Where's the land? Where's the water wells? Where's the gold? Where's the silver? Where's the mining equipment? So, you know, a certain group of people could establish their own currency. Why are we begging the same people that, you know, we're talking down on in most of our lectures? Like, why do we, honestly, I mean, I don't care about what the enemy thinks in a nutshell, but I'm just saying, most cultures would respect us more if we actually mined for our own resources. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Let me get to the next question. Well, this is a comment, super chat. When the sperm and egg meet, is it okay? This is a question. When the sperm and egg meet, is it a duplication of the Big Bang?
That's a very good question, and I believe it's very similar. It's very similar. It might not be exactly, but we're dealing with the same process. We're dealing with the ether and the static meeting the dark matter.
Mm-hmm. Dark matter being and the ether static being what? What is what? Ether and static being the sperm?
Yeah, and then the dark matter coming from the egg in the womb.
The womb, right? Okay, excellent. All right, let's get to the next question. Brother Rich asks RFG, is the moon god for us or bad for us to be moon gazing and praising like a lot of us do in our community? Thanks for that question.
Very good question. I used to be one of those individuals that paid homage to the moon, and I'm telling you, when you study cultures around the world, from Native American tribes in North America, the Inca, the Zulu, even in Greece, you know, the Africans told the Greeks the real history about the moon, and the Greeks called the people who lived on Earth before the moon, the Greeks called them proselenes. So the beings who lived on Earth before the moon was in the sky, the Greeks referred to them as proselenes. So we have all different cultures around the Earth saying that there were multiple civilizations that existed before the moon was even there. And everything metaphysically that is connected to the moon is tied to a lower frequency. When we talk about sin, the Babylonian name for the moon is Sin. Sin kind of sounds like yin, the realm of yin, because anything dealing with material matter is yin. Every single form of matter that is dealing with electrons or just regular atoms, molecules, that's all dealing with the yin frequency. This is why the enemy, they set up their fictitious monetary system after what? The yin frequency. That's why the Chinese named their currency the yin or the yuan. It's basically the same thing. The moon, it's called money, which is really moony, right? You see what I'm saying? It's most of the frequencies that are tied with lowering our frequency, it all goes back to the moon. And we can even see depictions of this in video games like Pac-Man. The Pac-Man is the crescent moon eating the ghosts. That's trapping your soul or reincarnation, dealing with the moon, the archons on the moon. In the movie Soul, the Disney movie Soul, they show the moon's true identity and the archons that deal with the souls that passed on. And when they meet the archons at the moon, that's when they decide whether they want to go back in a different body or they want to just achieve what's called moksha and just leave it all behind. Then you also had the Dragon Ball Z cartoon with Piccolo dressed up like a Moor in Egypt, and he used the pyramid's energy to destroy the moon. Then, we have Luke Skywalker in Star Wars destroying the Death Star. See what I'm saying? So, I mean, we keep seeing the same kind of, the same symbols, the same occurrences with these different cartoons and movies and video games.
Yeah, one thing I've always noticed about the moon, I'm big on the moon. I like to go out, and I don't know if it's the moon energy or what, but I know when I come up with certain ideas, the moon is present. But I always love meditating at nighttime when the moon is out, and I get a lot of business ideas with the moon energy presence. Like a lot of ideas for this channel come from me meditating at night outside while the moon is out. So I'm dudes, like, regardless of what anybody say, I'm big on the moon energy. And if it came from Earth and it came from Arizona, then I'll fuck with it. They just got my shit right now, but I'm gonna need my shit back eventually. Whoever's inhabiting my shit, I'm gonna need it back. I'm putting y'all on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say you should put your birthday in on Google and look up the moon phase during your birth, and that will tell you a lot. That will tell you a lot and how connected you are to the moon. For babies who are born on the full moon, there's going to be a much more natural connection. So you should really look into that. The moon phase during your birthday, and that will tell you a lot.
Brilliant suggestion. I will definitely do that. I thank you a lot for telling me. I will definitely do that, brother. I definitely do. Let's get to one more question, then we're going to get out here. Before we get to this one question, because I know a lot of y'all going to bounce after this one question, I need y'all to support this brother for the information that he has come forth with. All right, brother, you're going to have to spell your PayPal. Spell it one more time. Spell it for me.
That is A, and then M as in Mandy, OAPOKSIA@gmail.com.
All right, so the brother doesn't have a Cash App. I think it got taken from him. So I want to show this brother some love on a PayPal. I just came across this brother information. Was suggested. You know, there's a few people, and let me just say this real quick before I get to the last question. One time, a sister recommended. She emailed me, and she about Yaki Awaken. Never heard of Yaki Awaken.
Okay.
Oh, I need this brother. This brother need to be on your channel. I clicked on Yaki Awaken video. Within 15 seconds, I said, "Yo, I need this brother on my channel." It's just a feeling I get. You know what I'm saying? It's intuitive feeling. So shout out to Yaki Awaken. You know, we done made classic interviews together. But I got
Okay.
that feeling when I came across this brother's information. Within like 20 seconds, I'm like, I got to get this brother on my YouTube channel. I hope he responds.
Okay.
Yeah, man, and he hit me back, and that's how it happened. Saying that to say, make sure you'll support the brother family. Make sure you'll support him, show him love, let him know that the world out there cares about this type of information. You know, everybody got bills to pay, everybody got things they got to do, and the brother's dedicated so much time and energy to his craft. His PayPal is AM. You spell it. I don't know how to say it, but y'all see it on the screen. With that being said, let's get to yeah, they said yeah, they loving it. Yeah, it's definitely definitely a good show. Definitely amazing show. All right. All right, this person been asking questions. Wait, let me make sure I ain't got no more super chat questions, and then I could all right. This person's been asking the same question. I've been seeing this question a lot tonight. What is the difference between law and spirituality?
Law and spirituality. Law is something that the archons have concocted. It is something that has origins with the archons. Anything that tries to restrict any kind of energy that is high vibrational, that's dealing with an Arconian based energy. So if you're not exuding a low frequency, if you're not causing pain, grief, or agony on others, I don't feel that there's any need to be policed. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Indeed. All right. So with that being said, man, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show. Any information you want to give the people before you get out of here? I know you got an Instagram. You can tell the people your Instagram one more time before you get out of here so they can check that out. I swear this brother got one of the best Instagrams out there with the information. What's your Instagram, brother?
It is RFG _ chosen one, the number one. That is RFG _ chosen one. That's the number one.
Anything else? Anything you got coming up, or anything you want the people to know about? Any new videos coming on Patreon? Anything like that?
Yeah, I got 2 new videos coming to Patreon. One tonight, and then another one probably tomorrow afternoon.
And what's your Patreon though? The same as your name?
The same as my Instagram name. So that's Patreon / or patreon.com / RFG _ chosen one, the number one.
Right. Okay. All right. So listen, man, like I said, I appreciate it, my brother. Look forward to the next interview. I tell you got so many topics on your Instagram that I could have just went in any direction tonight. But yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely looking forward to the next interview. I know the people gonna holler at you, they're gonna support you. So much success to you and what you doing, my brother.
I appreciate it.
Family, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I will a meditation. Listen, y'all. I uploaded a meditation track. My channel is going to turn into a meditation channel at nighttime. So if you're up at night, you want to relax, you want to get some sleep, you want to meditate, I have some amazing meditation music that I produce, and it's going to run all through the night. So it'll start at 11 o'clock tonight, and it'll run to 6 in the morning. And eventually I'm gonna do that every night. For now, I'm gonna start with like 3 times a week, but eventually it'll be every night. So nighttime, I have my show at 9, but from like 11 to 6 in the morning, it'll be a meditation channel. If you just want some background music to listen to and to vibe to, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? So so with that being said, we signing out, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you on Friday. See you tonight. Come through the mic. Listen to the meditation music. Other than that, yeah, meditation is medication. Other than that, I'm signing out, family. See y'all in a little while. Thank you, my brother. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Absolutely. I appreciate you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Indeed, my brother. Peace. Take care.
You too.